There are 27 spells to be cast between Diagon Alley and Hogsmeade, and we're going to hit them all today. I'm Professorvoqas, and this is Harry Potter Wizards Unite. For those of you not familiar with Universal Orlando and Islands of Adventure, they sell wands that are interactive. On the tip of the wand, there's like a sensor, and around the park they have 27 of them. They have different spots where you point the wand at a sensor, do a certain motion, and then it makes something happen. So anyway, we're gonna hit all of them. I'm in Diagon Alley right now. We're gonna hit these first, go into Nocturne Alley, and then after that head over to Hogsmeade. So for today, at least for the morning, I'm gonna be wearing my robes. It starts to get a bit hot, which is why I wanted to do this in the morning, although I will be at Hogsmeade around 10, well 10 or later, it doesn't open until 10. So hopefully it doesn't get too warm, and it is supposed to rain later, and these things soaked, I think, would weigh a ton, so hopefully we get done. Another thing I wanted to show you is inside the robes, there is actually a small pocket so you can hold your wand, which actually, I will say, compared to every other way I've done it, it definitely makes it easier. So let's head to the first spot. So the first spot is out here in front of the hopping pot. It's a mermaid fountain, and it is aguamente. It's aguamente. And especially if you look on the ground, there'll be little markers that show you what to do. So you can see aguamente here is different than Wizards Unite. It is actually just a kind of a straight swooping line across. And it makes this fountain come on right here. Now actually, you didn't see it, but right behind me, that grate, it actually shot water from there into that grate. So if somebody was standing behind me, watching me, that would potentially zap them with water. Anyway, right to the right of where we just were. So there's the fountain in the background, and we actually just turned this way. And if we head in here to Bowman E. Wright Blacksmith, there's actually two spots. You can see Reparo, and then also a locomotor bellows. So we're gonna do Reparo first. So Reparo, you see that suit of armor over there. We're just making the Reparo motion. There we go. And it puts the suit of armor back together. Next one is not as exciting. You see the bellows right there, and you get to make them move by, again, doing the bellows, the locomotor bellows. And there it goes, up and down. So there's two right here to hit for sure. On to the next spot. The next spot is over here at Weasley's Wizarding Wheezes, off to the right of kind of the main entrance. And you can see this toilet with the you-know-poo in it. The spell is going to be Descendo, which we actually will also do over in Hogsmeade. Descendo, but it just makes the toilet flush. So, Descendo. And then you can see you-know-poo is being flushed down the toilet. And there it goes. Now, while we go through all these spots, there's actually, here in Diagon Alley, there's a list of them, and you get the map and everything, but there are two secret spots, and we're actually about to hit the first of those two secret spots. So we've moved over in front of Scribulus over here, and the first one I'm going to show you is the classic Wingardium Leviosa. It's Leviosa, not Leviosa. But anyway, there's a feather right there, and you're going to actually levitate the feather. And there it goes. Now, if you're at this wand spot, going directly to the right of it, hey, how are you? Is the first of the two secret spots I'm going to show you. You can actually see the sensor in the corner there. I mean, the magic. And it will actually produce different statements on this parchment. I believe there are 17 different ones. Now, the wand movement for this, it really can be anything. And you can see it just said, Invisible Ink, available in all colors. So let's try one more time. We're not going to do this 17 times, but we are going to do it a couple times. There we go. I generally do a circle or a triangle on these. It just says secret. Keep your secrets secret. And we'll do it one more time. It does sometimes have some cheeky statements. There we go. Scribulus Invisible Ink, one of our many secrets. All right, I'm going to move on and let other people go, but this is the first of the 2 secret spots. All right, next up, in front of Wiseacres, right to this right window right here on the ground, you can see Specialis Revelio. This star chart that you're looking at right now, it actually has some animations, so let me show you. I know it's hard to see, you might be able to see the bear moving across the screen and doing a flip. It was the Big Dipper, Ursa Major. And then spilling out all the stars. Now some of these, even without the camera, some of these are tougher to see because the glare in the window makes it difficult to see. But you're at least getting the spots down and where to go if you're ever here, and just some of the fun that can be had. It's something fun you can do that you don't have to wait, unless of course there's people waiting to do the wand spots, which people will form lines kind of behind those brass nameplates on the ground of that. And let's head over around the corner of Wiseacres for one more thing, not a spell per se. This part should look familiar to any players of Wizards Unite. So right behind me here, and if you look, these may look a little bit familiar. And they'll look even more familiar when I put my wand out. So the dark detectors open up, and now wherever I move my wand, the eyes follow my wand, which I think is so cool. So anyway, there are dark detectors here in Diagon Alley, and then they shut down. Nice, so again, that's not a specific spell. When you get to those spots that don't actually have a specific spell listed, generally a triangle starting from the top of the triangle, going down to the lower left corner, then over to the right corner, and then back to the top is going to get you that get you that activation on whatever spell point that is. Which brings us to our second secret spot, which is actually right in front of the window from my intro, the Slug and Jiggers. In the right-hand window, you can see this pile of dragon dung. Anyway, same thing. The wand movement doesn't have to be anything special. And you can see, not only does it move, which you can see on the video, but it actually just blew out the scent of like sulfur, essentially. It smells like fire and brimstone. Anyway, that is the second secret spot in Diagon Alley. Now we're going to move to 2 of the ones that seem to be most... So I've actually moved down, the dragon is actually right above me there. I've moved down to this end of Diagon Alley. There's actually 1, 2, 3, 4 in this area before we're going to probably head into Nocturne Alley to look at the rest of them. Next one is right here in front of Pillowinkle's Playthings, and this one is Tarantalegra. Tarantalegra is the dancing charm, essentially, and you're going to actually end up making some trolls dance, which is interesting because you've seen this in the music box. Nice. I barely did a thing and I got it to work. So here it is, you can see. Show you these 2 guys over here. All right, so this next spot is this bird right here. It's not the most exciting, and it's actually Silencio. Silencio, it will be making noise, and then you'll cast Silencio to stop it. There we go. That took me forever, but it gets the bird up, and he's back again. Sometimes if the sun is shining on the window in a certain way, it makes it really difficult to be able to get the spell to work, because the glare is not allowing it to register the fact that your wand is pointed at it. So the next 2 are in the shade though, so we should have no trouble with them whatsoever. And you can see this umbrella right here. The umbrella, this one, pretty popular one because it's very visual. People see it as they walk by, so they go and hit it. But anyway, there's one right to the left of it that we're actually going to hit right now. It involves those windows up there, turning the lights on. You'll recognize the spell too, Incendio. We've cast this many times. Anyway, the real key is to point our wand in this direction toward Nocturne Alley and do this spell, and it'll light up the lights. And there they go. All the lights have come on. So Incendio, you're just lighting up the lamps in that case. So for the next one, you can see it, so it was just finishing up there. It's Medielo Jinx, which we are used to Medielo Jinx for Kanto. This one actually is, we're actually causing a storm. But it is, the funny thing is, if you look at the spell, it is very similar. There it is. So umbrella, it actually does some thunder and lightning, and then you can see the rain comes down, especially unsuspecting people coming out of the bathrooms here. It's always funny. All right, so the next spots we have to hit are in Nocturne Alley, which means it's about to get really dark. So we are heading down Nocturne Alley, and we'll just see how well it does. You can, of course, hear my voice, so at least I can explain where I am. So I am in Nocturne Alley, and I'm walking down past Gringotts, actually, and there's 2 ways into Nocturne Alley. Anyway, there's, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spells down here that we need to cast, so let's head in. There is at least light. So the first spell we're gonna do right here, is super familiar, Aloha Mora, on this door, which you cannot see, but I can describe it to you. There we go. You can actually see that eye? So it actually makes an unlocking sound, and when you go to open this door, it actually just sprayed me with air. So we're gonna move over here. You can see a little bit more now. This one again is Incendio, and then actually you can maybe see this bird in here, and we're gonna do different things to this bird. So I'm gonna cast Incendio. Now I did talk to a witch yesterday who said this was having some trouble, which means I had to cast it maybe 4 or 5 times before I got an actual effect. There we go. You can see it is actually lit up, that it's heading toward the bird. And it just gave him a whole bunch of boils. There you go, we got rid of him. So he always is okay at the end.
You go right up there and take him
So
off.
if you look over here, there's a whole bunch of shrunken heads in a window. They're all blabbing right now too. But if we cast Mimblewimble, I'm not sure how well you can hear it, but what I've done is I've made it where they can't really speak anymore. They were about to sing a song. So Mimblewimble just kind of shuts them up. It's like Silencio in a sense. There we go. So now it kicked in.
We're so tired of you messing with our heads. We'll show you the way to go home.
There's still a couple more in Diagon Alley. I just walked out enough to get enough light. So that last song you heard, Show Me the Way to Go Home, Jaws used to be on the spot where this was built, and that song was, of course, sung in Jaws. So that's actually a small tribute to Jaws as a shrunken head singing that song. That actually Mimblewimbled at the beginning. Anyway, let's hit the last 2 in here. So this one here, it just says moving skeleton because it's not anything specific. You can see this right here. Again, it's essentially any movement. All right, so if you see the skeleton's left arm, it's actually mirroring my right arm. I can essentially move it, and you can actually hit other things in the picture. So when you come here, it's not a specific spell so much as just having fun with the skeleton. Moving on. If you can see, it's Locomotor Chimney Sweep. And again, Locomotor, it's going to be the same spell, even though it's Chimney Sweep, much like the bellows. There we go. Locomotor Chimney Sweep. You see he climbs up to the top. And once he hits the top, he actually slides back down and resets himself. The reason he's climbing is because you actually light the fire with Incendio. All right, exiting out of Diagon Alley. I just made a complete loop. Essentially, when you enter Diagon Alley, I took a right turn, and after I took that right turn, I just went around until I got to Diagon Alley and went past Gringotts, and then hit the wand spots in Nocturne Alley. So those are all the wand spots over here at Diagon Alley. Let's head over to Hogsmeade to finish this out. Just walked into Hogsmeade a second ago. I did take the Hogwarts Express over. You can see from behind me that entrance. It's near Mythos and that whole Poseidon's Fury area. So I'm coming in from that direction. I'm actually gonna go down the street and hit each wand spot as I go. So the first spot on the left as you come in is Zonko's, and it's gonna be another Incendio, which we of course are totally familiar with. And it's gonna actually kind of make these fireworks happen is really what it comes down to, so. And there it is. You can see in these fireworks shoot out right here. His eyes are moving back and forth. Perfect. And literally right next to it, if we look up, we can see pot of water, and this is Arresto Momentum, which we are also familiar with. Funny thing is, when we do this, it's actually going to make them move. The idea is we've stopped the water, and then they're going to come out from that. And there it goes. Nothing like some pixies in the morning. All right, to keep walking down. The next spot is actually in front of Honeydukes. It's in the far right window on the front of Honeydukes, and it's actually a chocolate frog. This spell is just Revelio, which is going to open up that box and show a giant chocolate frog. And there we go. I wasn't sure it worked, but it did work. You can see it opens up to reveal a giant chocolate frog. Nice. So we're going past the Hogshead here, coming up to Dogweed and Deathcap. Quick detour across the street at Dervish and Bangs in the backside. If you find this display right here, there's two spells, which is Locomotor and Arresto Momentum. Locomotor should make this dragon chase this Quidditch player around, and then Arresto Momentum would make it stop. So you can cast both, kind of make it go back and forth. So it's in this direction. So first we have Locomotor. There we go. I got it started. So you can see they're chasing each other. Well, they're not chasing each other. The dragon's chasing the Quidditch player. And then if I cast Arresto Momentum, there we go. Made it stop. So two different spells at this spot. So from here, let's go back across the street. Back across the street at Dogweed and Deathcap. Right here, look, it's Professorvoqas. We are familiar with this spell from greenhouses, but the center is actually up high. You're gonna need to cast your spell in that window up there, but the flower right here, this orange one, is what actually ends up having an effect. And there it goes, it's growing. So that's a tough one sometimes because people will cast the spell and then not understand where they should be looking. And right down from the last spot is Gladrag's Wizardwear, which we can come to this window that has a tuxedo with the tape measure. Tape measure will be up or down, and actually there's two spells here, Descendo and Ascendio, and one makes it go up and one makes it go down. So depending on where it is, you're gonna need to do that one. So since it's down, I will be casting Ascendio. And there it goes up. And to get it back down, we're gonna do Descendio. Nice, and back down. So just making that tape measure go back up and down. Next, if we head over to Madame Puttyfoot's, you'll find some cakes in the window here, and there's a snowman on a cake there. And by using Locomotor Snowman, again, a spell we've seen before, Locomotor Snowman, he will skate around on it. There we go. Nice. This one's a little tougher because the sensor for this, you really need to cast the spell. It's across the room. When you're trying to cast these things, if it's not working, go ahead and pretend you're shorter. I almost feel like sometimes the angles are set up for younger kids. So not that I'm that tall to begin with, but it's set up for that. So if you have your wand up high, just lower it and get the angle of the wand more in tune with where a younger child would be. Heading across to Tomes and Scrolls. You can see this one is Alohomora, the unlocking, which we did do in Nocturne Alley. And you can see there's a copy of Tales of Beetle the Bard. Anyway, this one I have found sometimes needs to be lower. And this one I have found if you are up here, sometimes that's too high. I try to go down in this window here and do my Alohomora down here. Yep, there it goes. Not sure how well you can see. Beetles the Bard opens up and it keeps going back and back. Proof of your pain, fruit of your labors, treasure of your past. And then it has the Fountain of Fair Fortune in the way background. Moving on over to, if you can see, it says Spine Witches. This is another Wingardium Leviosa. If you see, there's actually a, in the case, you can see 2 bludgers, and then there's also a quaffle. Well, you'll make the quaffle levitate with Wingardium Leviosa. There we go. Took me a second. You can see the quaffle was levitating for a moment. Now again, the sun is hitting this one, so that is going to make it harder for you to get the spell off. Sometimes it takes more than one attempt. Generally look for, like I said, go lower if you need to, and look for the sensor as well. That is going to do it for all the wand spots that are available at Diagon Alley, Nocturne Alley, as well as Hogsmeade. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Definitely, if you come to the Wizarding World, I feel like it's worth it to get the wands. I've done the wand spots multiple times, and if you're just waiting or having your butterbeer or that type of thing, it's a fun thing to just walk around and be able to do. All that being said, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Nox.